Hey guys, how's your Sunday been? Had a nice time? Had a relaxing Sunday? I've had a great Sunday. You know, one of those classic relaxing Sundays where you can't eat or drink in the morning and you go to a central London hospital on one of the hottest days of the year and you get a giant tube with a camera on it shoved down your neck. Yeah, one of those. We've all been there. Yeah, I had a gastro endoscopy today and everything was fine. Don't worry about it, which is why I'm doing this video. We can set that aside. Everything was fine. However, the first words I said when the procedure was finished, to the doctor was, that was one of the worst experiences of my life. As soon as they took the mouthpiece out of my mouth, I said, that was one of the worst experiences of my life. And he said, oh, you did great. And I said, no, I didn't. And we'll get on to that. So I don't know if anyone watching has had a gastro endoscopy, but you go in, you get offered either sedation or a throat numbing spray. I went for a throat numbing spray because I'm hard, and I don't regret it, but I do think when they said sedation takes the edge off, I can see what they mean. So went for the throat spray. The throat spray tasted like banana on fire, if you can imagine that. Imagine a banana on fire and then imagine putting it in your mouth. That's what it tasted like, and he gave me 2 doses of that, so 2 bananas on fire. And then, you know, like that situation where you're going for a procedure at the hospital. I don't know if anyone's ever been in this situation. You go in and there's one doctor and he's being really nice and everything's quite calm and he's explaining things to you really slowly. And then before you know it, you've signed a piece of paper, there's 4 people in the room and you're being held down on a bed. Do you know what I mean? Like, it suddenly escalates. Do you know what I mean? Suddenly there's shitloads of people. I didn't know where they fucking came from, apparated out of the walls and started holding me down. Someone was doing saliva in my mouth, someone was shoving the tube, someone was, don't know what they were doing, looking at the pictures or something, someone laughing, just tickling me. I honestly don't know what they're all doing. Anyway, so suddenly it just escalated. So my throat was numbed and boom, I had a mouthpiece in me. And he said, close your eyes for the start because the light's a bit bright with the camera on it. And he shoved it in and he said, and I suddenly realized the reality of what was about to happen when he shoved it in my mouth. I was like, oh, I'm gonna choke on this and then some. Like, this is gonna go beyond choking. And he said the worst bit is just where it goes around the top of your neck here and pushed, and you make like this gargling I'm gonna vomit sound like this, like that. And I was like, oh, I don't think I like this. I do not think I like this one bit. And that was when I just couldn't control my breathing, because you already can't really swallow. Your mouth feels like it's got like not just a golf ball, but a fucking handful of golf balls in there. You can't swallow, so you already feel like you can't breathe. And then you get this tube down, which you can't swallow either, because every time you swallow, you just feel this constriction of like metal. So then you're trying to like breathe, and the woman's saying, breathe through your nose. And I was like, that's the one thing I don't want to do, because I can't fucking close my mouth. And I'm trying to still tell my brain that I can get air around this fucking tube. So I'm going like this. Breathing like a zombie. Like that. And they must be thinking, fucking hell, he's I felt like a bit of a diva. I wasn't stopping doing that. Breathe through your nose, they were going. And I was stressed, and suddenly he said, he suddenly said, oh, we're down in your stomach now. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I thought you were still up in my throat. But then I realized, oh, it's because there's no nerve endings below like there. So I could still feel it waggling around there, but the head was actually all the way down here. And that creeped me out, at which point I nearly panicked. I was told to put my hand up if I start panicking. Because I'm a film nerd, and I just started thinking about face huggers in Alien, you know, like, or like in, I think there's one particular scene in Alien. Do you know the scene I was thinking of? Have you seen Alien Covenant, I think it is? Or it might be, no, it's Prometheus, where she's lying on a bed and she conduct an abortion herself with like a robot arm. And even though that's got nothing to do with the throat, that's what I was thinking of. Like I was traumatizing myself with thoughts of like horror scenes in films, basically. Just thinking, oh God, this is awful. And I was worried that if I did panic, what are they going to do? Just drag out this cable with my entire insides with it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be a bit gentle, aren't you? So anyway, then they start taking biopsies. They start chopping parts of your inside to test later. And like, again, even though you don't have any sensation in there, you kind of like feel the physical like pressure. You feel the pressure all the way down here, and then you feel the like a kind of like push on your inside of your abdomen as they take these chops. And I thought I was gonna look at the screen because I spoke to my granddad before and he's had loads done, and he says he loves watching the screen of his insides. I couldn't fucking do it, especially not when they were doing the chops. I could not do it. I was just like, can't wait for this to be over, can't wait for this to be over. And then they drag it out and you make that same noise again at the top, like that. And which is equally hilarious and disgusting at the same time. You want to vomit and laugh. And then he took the mouthpiece out and I said, that's one of the worst experiences of my life. It was the longest, 3-4 minutes of my entire life. So as a way to spend a Sunday, would not recommend 0 out of 10. As a way to spend any day, wouldn't recommend it 0 out of 10. Traumatizing. We'll never forget it. We'll go up there in some of my most traumatic experiences, alongside some elements of public speaking, and alongside that time where I broke my nose and I had to re-break it, and that was at the hospital. That was horrible. So definitely a solid rock bottom 0 out of 10.